What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about several different horror topics in this video here today. We'll be talking about Final Destination 6, a little bit about the Black Phone 2. We'll be addressing that Him teaser that came out. We'll be talking about Sinners, and we'll talk about Scream 7. Now, starting off here with Final Destination Bloodlines, several new steals from Final Destination 6 have surfaced online. Beware that some of these might be too spoilery for some, and others, like myself, just couldn't care less because the movie's a few short weeks away at this point. But the biggest thing confirmed from these stills is Iris's fate, which shouldn't shock anyone considering what the film makes clear about death, and that's that death has been trying to make up and tie up loose ends caused by Iris's intervention in a premonition back in the 60s where a bunch of people survived a tower collapse. Now, we got the peanut allergy showcased, but does this sequence of events kill this character? You'll find out in a few short weeks when the film drops. What do you guys think about these new stills? Now, if you're like, well, how is this Iris if the trailer showed us that it was supposed to be the brother's father? Well, that was just, again, another fake out bait and switch. The boy's father might actually still die because, of course, it's going after their entire bloodline. So a lot of them are going to die. But the funeral doesn't appear to have been for the father. It appears to be for Iris. Now, the film is projected to have a big weekend, especially considering that the franchise has been on ice for over 10 years. But the current projections would prove that concern about the film not having enough marketing was completely unnecessary. And with the current projections that it has, it's safe to say they have done more than enough marketing with that one trailer alone, which set a record. Another small update related to Final Destination Bloodlines. Anna Lorraine will be featured in the Black Phone 2. Anna Lorraine plays one of the cousins in Final Destination Bloodlines, and she's starring in the Black Phone 2. Deadline, Variety, all the reputable trades reported this last week. If you follow me on Twitter or listen to my old videos, you might recall I said that a Final Destination 6 star was in the Black Phone 2, and I was always talking about Anna Lorraine. I think at one point I actually just named her. There was a casting call sent to me. They were looking for certain people, and the headshot was to look like this actress, and it was a picture of Anna Lorraine. Now, until we get confirmation on her role, I'm expecting her to be crucial to the film in one of those alleged flashbacks for the Black Phone 2, but we'll see what her role is. But yes, Anna Lorraine is pulling double duty this year with Final Destination 6 and then jumping to the Black Phone 2 later this year. Now, let's talk about the Him teaser. The Him teaser trailer dropped, and it does look trippy. I'll recap this excerpt from the Bloody Disgusting article and give my thoughts. Him is starring former college wide receiver Tyreek Withers, who's also going to be starring in I Know What You Did Last Summer, as Cameron Cade, a rising star quarterback who has devoted his life and identity to football. On the eve of professional football's annual scouting combine, Cam is attacked by an unhinged fan and suffers a potentially career-ending brain trauma. Just when all seems lost, Cam receives a lifeline when his hero, Isaiah White, played by Marlon Wayans, a legendary 8-time championship quarterback and cultural megastar, offers to train Cam at Isaiah's isolated compound that he shares with his celebrity influencer wife, Elsie White, played by Julia Fox. Scoop confirmed. If you follow me on Twitter, I told you that Julia Fox is going to be playing Marlon's wife. But as Cam's training accelerates, Isaiah's charisma begins to curdle into something darker, sending his protege down a disorienting rabbit hole that may cost him more than he ever bargained for. Now, while the trailer definitely sold me on the fact that I'm probably going to be witnessing one of Marlon's best performances ever, the mentions of how far you're willing to go to be considered the GOAT and the emphasis on sacrifice, which was, or GOAT actually was the film's previous title. And I think that's actually online still for you guys to go read if you like. So you've been warned. I think the script is actually online for people to read. But constantly referencing how far you're willing to go in this trailer and these talks of sacrifice makes it seem like we already know what's happening and we still have a movie to endure. I do argue that execution is everything, but Him is likely going to suffer from placing us as the audience 20 steps ahead while offering no surprises as we get to the predictable conclusion that we figured out within 10 minutes. So when you tell us what's going on within 10 minutes and then there's still 70 minutes left, that's a problem. That's the same problem The Nun had. It looks like it's going to be a visual feast, and I even heard one scene seems fitting for a Saw film, but I'm concerned the ride won't be worth it if we know the destination by minute 10 and have like 90 to go. That's all I'm taking from this trailer. mostly. That Marlon Wayans is going to give a phenomenal performance. It's going to be a visual feast. But I feel like the script is going to be the film's biggest detriment. Everything else looks fine, but the way they're putting so much emphasis on what are you willing to sacrifice, it's easy to already infer what is going on. I feel like the film is going to make it abundantly clear too many times what's going on, but then still try to treat it as though there's a big surprise coming, and there is no big surprise. It's the exact thing you thought it was 10 minutes into the film. Now, let's talk about Sinners. Ryan Coogler's Sinners is on track to earn more than what was projected during its opening weekend. I believe it's going to be gaining $45 million or more this weekend. It's a massive hit with the general public and critics alike, and it's the only horror film in 3 decades to debut with an A on CinemaScore. I believe that was also recently reported. If you haven't checked Sinners out, please do yourself a favor and go today, go sometime next week, find a way to experience Sinners. This movie is everything audiences have been clamoring for when it comes to giving us something that has charismatic characters. It's well shot. It has energy that doesn't put you to sleep. You're able to stay awake the whole time. Because I know a lot of the more recent times I've been going to these public screenings to watch movies again, people are falling asleep. I did not have that with the times I've seen Sinners, which are just 2. But there's been times where I've gone and seen other movies recently where people are already sleeping on the first viewing, sleeping during the second viewing. Granted, that could have just been a coincidence. I was in a crowd with tired individuals. But Sinners is a movie that keeps the audience awake. The acting is incredible. The direction is phenomenal. Ryan Coogler knocked it out of the park. But this should definitely be your cup of tea if you're into vampires. And I'm betting this film crosses 200 million worldwide at least. Some are predicting it does 300 million. If it does that, that's big. For a horror film, that is big. Now, let's talk about Scream 7. In Touch Weekly reported a few weeks ago, I just never got around to this, that Courteney Cox insisted on David Arquette being included in Scream 7. Says rebuilding the Scream franchise from the ground up has been a huge part of Courtney's life for the last year after the original plans for the 7th film imploded and the stars and director left the project. Courtney has helped turn the reimagined movie into a once-in-a-lifetime reunion of the classic 96 original, bringing back Matthew Lillard and even her ex-husband David into the cast, despite the fact that their characters have been definitively killed off in previous installments. She sees these films as a family affair and takes her work on this film in particularly incredibly personally. It wouldn't be a fulfilling experience for her if David wasn't strongly featured and they couldn't put their famous chemistry to the test once again. Now, let's just assume this is all true. Why is she so hell-bent on this? I'm trying to think, does this have anything to do with what's going on with Gale in Scream 7? I'm wondering if Gale is actually going to bite the bullet. And if Gale is going to bite the bullet, perhaps there were some things not present, like the inclusion of David Arquette's Dewey Riley, that Courtney wanted to be present during Gale's final moments to be poetic or just symbolic of everything that has brought her here. The biggest thing being her relationship with Dewey Riley. So as she goes into the afterlife, she's going to see Dewey one last time. And that's how David Arquette comes into the film. I think that would be even better than just using him as one of those voices everybody's expecting to be used for this AI stuff. I think a flashback or Gale seeing Dewey as she's dying and us getting to see that manifested on screen would be an even better usage as opposed to what they seem to be doing with Matthew and Scott with the AI stuff. I would rather Dewey not be included in that. If he is, he just is. I think there's something going on with Gale, such as her dying, which is why this motivated Courtney possibly to say, hey, well, if he wasn't already there, saying, hey, can we get David back to have him a part of this? I don't want to die if I'm not going to have one final scene with Dewey. But we'll see what comes of this and why she insisted on this being a family affair, as they put it. Let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. In the description, I'll have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there to let me know any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.